So in this problem, we want to find the consumer surplus and the producer surplus, and we are given a demand function in terms of X and a supply function in terms of X. So X here represents the number of items being produced and sold, and here is a formula for consumer surplus, and here's producer surplus. So we need to find P sub E and X sub E in both of these. That's the equilibrium point, the price P and the X, the number of items being produced and sold, at the equilibrium point, and that occurs where demand and supply are equal. So we have to find that in this problem. So first we need to find the equilibrium point, X sub E, comma, P sub E, that's X, number of items being sold and produced, and their price. So to do that, we're going to set D of X equal to S of X, and that'll give us the X value when we solve. So in this case, we just have a quadratic to solve, and it's the kind where I would recommend using well, I would say use the quadratic formula, but actually this one is even simpler than that, because there's no X term. All we have is two X squared terms when we set them equal and a constant. So I'm going to add 0.004 X squared to both sides. Basically, I'm moving this term to the right. So we can do 0.005 plus 0.004. That gives us 0.009 X squared. Now isolate the X squared by dividing both sides by 0.009. So 36 divided by 0.009 is 4,000. Where are we? Here we are, 4,000. So X squared is 4,000. And the square root of 4,000 is not a perfect, it's not a perfect square. So I would recommend probably not rounding until the very end. You could round here if you're really careful and you carry out enough decimals. It does come to, where is it? Let's see, 63.2455 roughly. 63 point, and I'm having a hard time switching here. What did I say? 24555. So it's up to you if you want to round at that point. If you do round, just carry out lots of decimals. Okay, now that we have that, that's X, the number of items being produced and sold. P is the price that they would be sold at. So in order to find the price at the equilibrium point, you can substitute this X value into either D or into S, and you should get the same thing. So I'm going to sub it in, or you can just put square root of 4,000. I think that might be easier, actually. Into D or into S. So right here, I've plugged it into D, that's the demand function, which is interesting because if you just use the exact value, it's actually a lot easier because X is equal to the square root of 4,000, but then you square that. So the square root right here and the demand function and the square will cancel each other. So we'll get 36 minus 0.004 times 4,000, which is 36 minus 16, or 20. So we have an exact nice value for that one. And then we just compute these two integrals. That's the demand, that's D of X, minus this P value, which is 20. And here's 20 minus S of X. Make sure you, actually, in this case, you don't have to put parentheses because S only has one term. And you integrate from 0 up to the X at the equilibrium, or from 0 to square root of 4,000. If you need any help getting either of those, and now that you have the equilibrium point, let me know and I will help you further.